The South African Human Rights Commission and REPS, an international organization on child psychological support, on making our schools and community safer for children. The founding member of the June 16 Development Foundation, Mr. Seth Mazibuko, joins us now live. A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for making the time. Tell us more about this program and how it relates to the activities of this week regarding children.
Good morning, Desiree, and good morning to the viewers and the listeners. Desiree, this program started about 6 years ago. This was immediately the incident in Orlando East where about 67 children were alleged to have been sexually molested in one school by a security guard. And then we came together as the community and invited Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, REPSI, and Human Rights Commission to intervene at the psychosocial level and also in trying to assist children to protect themselves, and also in trying to make the call to the community that now they must create safer space for children and also be part of the protection and safety of children. And the same project is running in Deep Silhouette under an organization called Africa to Good.
And what milestones have been achieved in these 6 years?
Desiree, I must tell you that, first of all, we started with a baseline study that revealed to us that most of the children that get to be exposed to GBV are mainly children who are coming from the child-headed families. Not only that, but the children that sometimes get to be unsafe. It's not only unsafe that they are being unsafe comes only from GBV issues. It also comes in from the issues of being homeless, of homelessness. It comes in also from child labor that we're dealing with in South Africa about 2 weeks ago. And of course, part of it also has been also the issue of COVID-19. So these were revealed by our baseline study that now if we are to intervene in child protection and child safety, we should try to intervene at those levels that I've just mentioned. So we have sampled about 7 schools that we're working with. We started with 365 children, and that was about 6 years ago, and last year we took in 685 children that we are busy training on a module called Empowering Girls, and with the boys with a program called Peace is a Decision. So these programs then are assisting children to form clubs. Those clubs then can talk also in schools about child protection and child safety. Those clubs are later going into communities to support, parents, to support counselors, to support, and other different sectors to assist them through the child's activism on child protection. So it's not an imposed program on children. It is children protecting themselves also, or playing a role in their own safety and protection.
Mr. Mazibuko, from what you're saying, it looks like this is a long-term project. At what point do you start to measure its success?
Desiree, after we have done our first cohort of children, we discovered that many of those kids would have been involved in one way or the other in some form of vulnerable position, but we discovered that a percentage, and a greater percentage for that matter, these were the end results of the first cohort. We managed to save at least a few of those kids from being open to some different forms of vulnerable positions. And we are saying that has been it's a pity that now we are not a government institution, but we are a community-based organization. We would have spread ourselves bigger, but we can't. And we are seeing also that even the very children that we are currently dealing with are starting to even look at their own safety and protection. And yes, this is not a microwave project. It is a project that is also having a long-term kind of vision.
I really understand your need to reach a greater number of children in the nation, but from the little sample that you have worked with, what kind of challenges are they facing in terms of feeling vulnerable and not protected in their communities or in their homes? Just give us the specifics here.
Desiree, let me just take, for instance, Orlando East, where we are working with children from 7 schools. Our study indicated that, as I indicated also earlier in this interview, that many of our children, Orlando East being 45.5%, having senior of these have to be sort of parents to even their own grandmothers, and then they open up to be very vulnerable in a sense of being exposed to GBV. And at some point, they even get to be exposed to staying in shacks, and the situation where they are staying is such that now it puts them in a very vulnerable position. And actually, that is even where we picked up many of their lack of protection from, COVID-19, from homelessness. Most of the parents leave them, and some of the parents are actually in drugs. So these kids then have to go out there and try and, find ways of protecting themselves. And the danger is that until such time that certain issues, some government intervention can come in. I'm happy that I heard earlier on that social development is collaborating now with other departments to try and intervene, for instance, on issues of housing, on issues of electricity, on feeding schemes, and all that. Because these kids get exposed or get unprotected, if one was to say, mainly because of the situation they are in. We also work closely with the health community centers. We also work closely with the police station. Actually, I was talking to the brigadier in Orlando Police Station just this morning, and we were looking at what is it that we can do together, for the child protection, and we already are developing a program.
And speaking about that, seeing that it's Child Protection Week this week, any specific programs that you are activating in this regard?
Oh, yes, there's on the 4th of this month, being part of June month, which is our month, and also at the same time being the last day of the Child Protection Week. We are going to be having a sports day, girls playing soccer, where we are going to be having, parents playing with children, and we just, by the way, a training on parenting skills, with Nelson Mandela Children's Fund and REPSIN, assisting parents to parent. So we'll be having these parents and our colleagues in Deep Slot will be playing soccer with the children and coming up with awareness program and also having a short walk to try and make noise about the safety and protection of children in the community and in schools.
I really love that part about the training in parenting skills, because nobody ever thinks parents need to be trained on how to raise their children well, and it's such a needed intervention. Mr. Mazibuko, we're talking to you about Child Protection Week, but you also, the June 16...
We're not only doing the...
I was just saying that the June 16 Development Foundation is a bigger foundation that really talks to your personal history in the struggle against apartheid. Just to finish off our conversation, what plans do you have in that regard?
Okay, we are having, as part of the program of the June month, we will be continuing also with our central.
Technology is failing us here. But can you still hear us, Mr. Mazibuko? Yes, you were.
Yes,
Please continue.
Yes, we are going to be having also on the day June 16 a walk that speaks to also what you call intergenerational walk. Are you there?
We still hear you, sir. All right, we'll try and get him back in June to come and talk more about what the June 16 Development Foundation has in plan for Youth Month. But there you have it, Seth Mazibuko, in a project that he has with the Nelson Mandela Foundation, working and the South African Human Rights Commission and REPSI, an international organization on child psychosocial support, running a program to make schools and communities safe.